What up, everybody? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. Today's episode is brought to you, as always, by Off the Record. We love Off the Record over here at Smoking Tire, and you guys do too. That's why you're always sending me emails telling me how Off the Record got you out of a little jam. If you get pulled over and ticketed or arrested for a moving violation, don't plead guilty. Get Off the Record. Go to offtherecord.com/TST to get 10% off all legal services booked through Off the Record. What Off the Record does is they will connect you to a qualified attorney in the jurisdiction where you got pulled over. They'll fight that ticket to get those points off your record, and if they don't succeed, you don't have to pay. It is very, very easy. Again, offtherecord.com/TST, offtherecord.com/TST. That'll get you 10% off all legal services at Off the Record. We love them. Don't plead guilty. Get Off the Record. All right, folks, on this episode of the program, Zach and I talk about the fact that tickets to our live shows in Dallas and Houston are now up on our Instagram bio and in the show notes. Come see us with Christian James Han. Hang out, bring your car. It's going to be a great time. And please, come support the show. And if these go well, we're going to do more of them. But on this podcast, we are talking about the new Toyota 4Runner, which Zach and I spent a week with and went off-roading, giving our thoughts on Mercedes' new electric super sedan. I have an update on my Meyers Manx, and Zach has a all-new interior in his BMW M3, plus some fabulous Q&A with our lovely patrons over at patreon.com/thesmokingtire that really keep this ship floating down the river. Let's get right to it. It's the Smoking Tire Podcast. Speaking of
there's the silver spoons, and then there's the sterling silver spoons.
I was listening to AYG recently, or an episode that you were listening to as well, but you were napping in the car on the way back from the 4Runner shoot, and they were trying to think of another brand from the 80s that started with an S that wasn't Saab. It was Sterling.
Sterling cars?
That was like a luxury brand. Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Camisa has one.
Really?
Yeah. Never heard of a Sterling?
No.
The Sterling is so that's a good one right there. The 825. There's the red one from Bring a Trailer. That was a good one. Oh. I don't know where. Oh, that one. Yeah. That's
looks like
one.
A
There was a
Rover.
couple different ones. Oh no, Camisa doesn't have a Sterling. He has a what's the other one he has?
Didn't he buy a Rover?
It's a Rover. He has a Rover. He has a Rover.
The front of this looks like a Rover.
Yeah. No, Sterling, I think, was based on Acura underpinnings.
Oh,
but it was like an even more upmarket Acura.
Oh boy, they made a sports car.
I think I think that was a different company. The Sterling sports cars, that was a Beetle conversion thing, fiberglass body.
This is Motor Trend title,
Yeah.
the Sterling 825, a pseudo Honda, and one of the worst cars in history.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like known for being good. It was supposed to be a better Honda, but it was actually like a worse. I mean, think of it. Is there any like better? There's only like 5 cars in the history of cars that are better made than a Honda or Acura from the late 80s.
And how would you improve on them?
You can't.
It's very dangerous.
And a late 80s Acura Legend is a nearly perfect automobile.
Yeah, that's true.
Like you can't, as far as like a car for regular people, that is like one of the best cars ever made.
Yeah. I wonder, I'm trying to find out what they did to it that made it so terrible.
I mean, I think they just made it worse. I think they just changed the body and just kind of made it worse. It's the Fiat 124 of 80s Japanese sedans, right? Like take a Miata
There we go.
and then just make everything worse. Like this asks the question of like, what if a Honda had a Lincoln Continental interior?
Yeah.
nobody.
Oh, Burlwood.
Look at the seats. Those are the most like 80s Lincoln seats.
Yeah, they're like 8 feet thick.
The Barca Lounger seat. That's terrible. Yeah. No, who wants that? The steering wheel, I think...
Very ugly.
I think it also went into a bunch of Plymouths. It looks like a Plymouth
good God.
neon steering wheel.
Well, the T-handle, some of the Acuras had that too, I think.
No, the Acuras?
Yeah.
No, they had a more bulbous one that resembled like what the Lexus LS had.
But it was a bulbous T.
It wasn't a
Right?
T, it was a big, it was a connected bit. It wasn't just a full T. Oh, that steering wheel is definitely a Dodge product. Oof.
Look, all I know is if someone says, "Hey, I coach built this Acura,"
that photo, the 80, that
Yeah.
interior that you have up, that's more like what the Legend shifter looked like. Not so tall and like that looks like a Cobra coming out of the dash.
they should have named it the Acura Cobra.
Holy shit! May I never see a Sterling again. And I feel like Camisa will be, if he hears this, would be insulted. His Rover's really nice. I mean, Rovers are junk, but he has like the most perfect Rover, and it's much prettier looking than the Sterling, which is no good.
Yeah, and it's a fun adventure for him.
Yeah. Right. So a lot of things to talk about. Important things. First off, the Notice Canyon in green is available to the public now. You don't need to be a patron to buy it. There's 20 or 30 units left on Notice's website, as well as about 4 of the night sky left, the blue ones. So if you can go get those now. If you buy both, I will allocate you the Black Pearl, but you got to do it before the Black Pearl comes out. Otherwise, they're going to be gone. There's only 50 of them. Also, I hope I said it in the intro. I hope I didn't forget when I record the intro for this show, but we're coming to Texas July 24th and 25th with Christian James Hand. The 24th will be in Houston. The 25th will be in Dallas at the Shop Club. Both are at the Shop Club. We love that place. There's food and beverage and car storage. It's what I would do if I could own a restaurant without having a heart attack. I would not be able to own a restaurant without having a heart attack. But my other friend, Matt, can do that. And in 3 different locations now. And of course, we're bringing Christian James Hand, which is the only thing that gives me any kind of confidence to do live podcasts. Is that
You should have more confidence in yourself, my man. We've done a couple of them.
I know we have, but like I feel like when we're doing a live show in front of an audience, doing our show is great. Our show is a great show, but I think our show is a great radio show, not necessarily a great live show. And we need to spice that bitch up a little bit.
Zhuzh it.
And the zhuzh is Christian. His live show is fucking awesome, and we get to watch it before doing our live show.
That's true. Selfishly, we also get to do that.
That is a real treat. And so July 24th and 25th in Texas. And if that goes well, if you guys come out, here's why it's worth driving to see that show. Because if those shows do really well, then we'll do more shows. Then we'll like run down the list of like where do people listen from, and like we'll go there and we'll do shows.
Yeah.
Like that's what this is really about. I hope people understand that. We want to come, and people have emailed like, hey, come to here, come to here, come to here. We would love to. But these have to go good first. So if you're like, I'd like to go, but it's, I don't know, it's an hour away or whatever, you should probably come. Because if it doesn't go well, we're never going to do it again. I don't want to fail twice. So, but the good news is the tickets have been on sale for like a day. And Dallas is 40% sold out, and Houston is 25% sold out. So I think we're probably going to have a good showing. But come on down and see us with Christian.
If it's an hour away, I was talking to a musician friend of ours recently, who I won't name, and he was like, we would go do a show in like Boston, and we'd get DMs from fans asking, when are you going to come to my city? And he'd ask where they were, and they were 30 minutes away. And he goes, we're in your city.
Yeah.
You're like, This is you should make the trip. Don't wait for me to go.
And this wasn't someone who just didn't know about the Boston gig.
No. They knew about it.
They knew about it. They're like, oh no, but when are you going to come to Newton?
Exactly. It was like, when are you going to make the extra 30 minutes so that I don't have to make the 30 minutes? Now, if you live 4 hours away from Houston, Dallas, whatever, I get it. That's kind of a drive. But
yeah,
within
reason. Within reason.
It's a good test case.
But if you're on the fence, it's a good investment in the future to come. Mm-hmm. Because if you come now, there'll be more of that.
If you get in early, is what we're saying.
Right.
You could be at the top of that pyramid.
You could get in on the ground floor. For the low price of Texas gas is cheap. So.
Here's some Herbalife for you. Please sell it to other car people.
Right. Leave with products. We don't have giveaways. We're working on some fun, exclusive I was there merch. It's got to be I was there. I was on site.
First one, man. First one, man.
It's got to be it has to prove you were there, and it has to be a limited edition collab, you know. It's got to be real.
And a drop.
I actually think like the fact that our musician friend who we were talking about when they were talking about merch and with how they, you know, their strategies for touring, which some of which were very, very interesting. But it's sort of the swing back, the pendulum away from NFTs.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Like you could only get this by physically being there. And that's the kind of stuff that goes on your wall, you know, versus like I read an article, I think it was yesterday.
The Beeple pricing, the Beeple art, that is...
It's awesome. It's just you just love to see it.
What was it, $60 million? Now it's $100?
$69 million to a hundo.
Yeah, it's valued at $100.
You know who I love that for? Beeple.
Yeah, sure. Get your check.
I hope that Beeple, I don't know what that dude is doing right now. I assume it's a dude. I think it is. I think they have the person's name in it.
Yeah, they do.
If I was Beeple, like my version of that was like I want a huge hand of one of those blackjack side pots in Vegas, and I turned like $20 into 25 hundy in one hand. I fucking took my money straight to Guitar Center. That's a fucking victory for the day. Good night and good luck, sir. Same with him. This guy's never going to have a fucking other scam like that. That's the greatest hit he's going to see.
Oh, absolutely.
I hope for him he does a Tom from MySpace and just like, bye, thank you for that, and I'm fucking off to
Sure, he's going to
whatever.
Keep making art, and now you have all the materials you could ever want. Unless you try to paint in space.
But now now that digital art is valueless, essentially, what is the guy who's so great at digital art? Because this is a talented individual. What are they going to do now?
That's a good question.
Rode that wave and now it's over.
I think. Well, I'm looking at the Instagram. I can pull it up. They've done some physical art.
Yeah.
I think.
So yeah, $69 million is going to before taxes.
Man,
you have to buy you a lot of.
You just don't want to be late to the NFT purchasing game.
Is that a real sculpture or digital? The top left. If that's a real sculpture, that's like pretty cool.
I think that's digital.
That's definitely digital. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're still doing it.
It's hilarious.
Still doing it. I mean, but now with what? Let's call
nicer
it.
Shoes
call it
now.
$30 million after taxes.
Yeah, pretty good.
Still a good haul. That's for me. That's check the fuck out money. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to film cars anymore.
Well, you'd find, trust me, that you'd have to do something.
Oh, I would
get bored in
I
like
would do
2
something.
seconds. Yeah, no, not like videos. No, not that.
I have plenty of ideas.
Yeah, we could do this.
Yeah, I'll just keep doing this.
Yeah, if you I would do this for free if I was on that.
I would do this.
Yeah,
and I would do stand-up, and I would just take any money ever made from that and just give it away because you can't pocket it when you've won $30 million.
You know, for the first, funny that you mentioned stand-up, like I did one open mic in 2015, and for my first time, I did, I think, what would probably be considered a pretty good 5 minutes. I got like pretty good applause in multiple places and laughs and stuff, and I haven't been tempted or confident enough to do it since. I was like, nah, I kind of wish... You know, I was like, it's too scary to continue. But for the first time, like 2 days ago, I wrote down 2 ideas for like that could be like really good 5-minute. You know, like if I went to an open mic and did 5, it would be one story, but it has like one of them is the panic attack while driving story, which can be told in a way that is actually funny now. And the other one. You know, I have to take my blood pressure like multiple times a day, and I have a favorite new dessert, which is at the farmers market they have these sprouted walnuts, and when I tell you that these are so much fucking better than any walnuts you have ever tried in your life, including sprouted walnuts that you could get from like Whole Foods or Erewhon. These are massively better. They're like crunchy and airy, and they taste like they're roasted, but they're not roasted. They're raw.
Okay. I'm looking at a picture. They look like walnuts.
They look like walnuts.
Okay.
Yeah, you would know. You would never. The word sprouted is weird. I don't actually even know what the fuck it means.
Okay.
But what it means to your mouth is that it tastes like a roasted nut, but the nutrients are still in it. They haven't been roasted out of it. Because when you roast nuts, they have less nutrients, right?
See, sprouting transforms a normally dense nut into a lighter, easier to digest nut that is more alkaline and has nutrition.
Right. Also, if you are prone to indigestion or acid reflux, one thing you shouldn't eat is a bunch of nuts because they're hard and they take acid to like break down. Like I'm not supposed to eat peanuts, although I can have peanut butter because they're really hard. The sprouted nuts across the board are softer and lighter, but the walnuts particularly, and they're fucking delicious. So my new favorite dessert is a little bit of whipped cream at the bottom of a bowl, a sprinkling of the walnuts, and like just a little tiny drizzle of wildflower honey. And like, bam, that's a fucking dessert.
Sure.
There.
It sounds really good.
The story goes, though, the other night, I finished the can of whipped cream, but there was still some fucking gas in there. And I decided to do a little science, and I did a whip it while doing my blood pressure. And my blood pressure went down by 5 points while doing a whip it. Interesting to know.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why.
I don't know why that. I don't know how that works or why that works.
I don't either. I'm sure some EMT or doctors listening, and they're going, "You're gonna die." Like, or here's, we won't talk about like here's why it does that. You know, it's evacuating the oxygen from your brain or something like that.
Yeah,
it is doing that.
Well, it is doing that, but like,
so maybe
only one breath worth. It's not like it's. You know what I mean? If you're huffing, if the starving oxygen from the brain is when people are like huffing balloons, doing one like off a whipped cream can, that's not starving your oxygen in the brain. That's
no, I wonder if it pushes all the oxygen out of your bloodstream, then your blood pressure drops because the volume drops because there's no oxygen in it. I don't know. Don't email me about this. I don't. DM Matt at the Smoking Tire on Instagram.
Yeah. Although a couple people did mention about the biting in the lemon thing, you don't have to carry fruit around. What you do is you either carry like Warhead candies.
So, someone messaged us about that.
Warhead candies will do it,
sour.
or someone else said like the pickleback, like juice, like the pickle juice will do it too.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
We were drinking pickle juice at Lemons because it was so hot. Like we ate all the pickles. And then I poured.
Like, what is this? Like, you're alive? You're like wandering in the desert.
There's 108 degrees.
Drinking the pickle juice?
Yes.
Like there was no water left?
No, we had water, but I started doing this at Burning Man when it's that hot and you're sweating and you're trying to just get electrolytes back in.
Oh,
like
that's your Gatorade is pickle juice?
Very occasionally. We also had Gatorade. Okay. We had finished the pickles, and I poured some in a cup, and like when you are that hot, it tastes great. And Jeff Glucker looks at me and goes, "What are you doing?" And I tell him, and he's like, "I'll try it." And he tries. He goes, "That's actually pretty good." I go, right? I think it's like your body is just
Glucker
freaking out right now.
Like, you just did a good Glucker there. I saw him yesterday at Manx. Yeah, went down to Manx to check in. Things are coming along. There wasn't really anything worth photographing, but the fuel cell, the Motec, the dash were all in. The radiator was in. The fans were in. The oil tank was about to go in. The engine was still there on the stand. Engine's going in
Is
like
it last? Or
no,
near last?
engine's going in like right after the holiday.
Okay.
But pretty exciting. And then Glucker wanted to drive, one of the radials. So we not the gray one was having a new oil tank fitted, so we couldn't drive the gray one, but we drove the red one, which has these big balloony like sand dune tires on it. They're not even like off-road tires. They're like the sand car tires, which is real weird on the street. Yeah, really soft. And it also had another exhaust on it that sounded awful. Not any. The gray car that we drove had a really nice sounding exhaust on it. And right now, that's what's scheduled to go on my car. But they just got a new design from Australia, and they said like the timing is right that they could like test fit it on my car and try it. We'll see. So far,
But
the
the
plan,
red car did not have the Australian exhaust. It
No.
had a different third one.
The red car had the first original exhaust that I drove from like 6 months ago.
Gotcha.
And it was not good.
Okay.
Yeah. It sounded like a WRX that was missing a cylinder. That's literally, dude, that's the best.
Wow,
like a WRX running on 3.
That's
It
almost
was
like
not
Volkswagen Beetle sound.
Yeah, no, it wasn't great. And as we said before, the one that's on the gray car, as you accurately put it, it sounds like a Ducati at idle. Mm-hmm. It's much more refined. And then it sounds like a biplane.
Totally.
Up top.
Yep.
That's the best one so far. So we're going to go with that unless we'll try this other one. Maybe it sounds great. But.
Sick. Speaking of updates, I got a photo. Wait, where's the stupid app? Man.
Oh, it's your seat. Folks, we got to take a quick break from the action because this episode is brought to you by IQBAR, our exclusive snack sponsor. IQBAR is the better-for-you, plant protein-based snacks made with brain-boosting nutrients to refuel, nourish, and satisfy hunger without the sugar crash. IQBAR's plant protein bars are packed with high-quality ingredients to help keep you physically and mentally fit. IQBAR is totally free from gluten, dairy, soy, GMOs, and artificial sweeteners for a natural, anytime snack. And with over 20,000 five-star reviews and counting, more people than ever are starting their days on the right foot with IQBAR's brain and body boosting bars, hydration mixes, and mushroom coffees. IQBAR sent me a sampler pack, but one flavor really stood out to me, and that is this Thomas Keller collabed salted caramel chip. It's got 12 grams of plant protein and only 1 gram of sugar with, how many calories is it? It is only 170 calories. Nice. Perfect for after podcast, before workout. They taste good and they give me energy for when I hit the gym. Right now, IQBAR is offering our podcast listeners a special 20% discount on all IQBAR products plus free shipping. To get your 20% off, text Smoking Tire to 64,000. You got that? Text Smoking Tire to 64,000. That's text Smoking Tire to 64,000. Message and data rates apply. See terms for details. We're also brought to you today from Smalls. Smalls is killing it over here, but not literally because it's cat food. And if they killed my cats, that would be a huge problem. My cats are probably the most important thing in my life outside of my wife. They are I have almost like Stockholm syndrome. I have to check on them all the time. I have to make sure they're extremely happy. We've modified our home for them. They are literally the most important things that we've got, and I want to feed them the best food. That's why I'm so lucky to be talking about Smalls. They sent me Smalls cat food, and these protein-packed recipes have preservative-free ingredients that you'd find in your fridge. They're delivered right to your door, and guess what? My 4 kittens love them. That's why Cats.com named Smalls their best overall cat food. And right now, they're offering you people 60% off your first order plus free shipping at Smalls.com with promo code TIRE for a limited time only. I've actually been using Smalls to do some tests with my cats. Monty, my youngest, is a bit of a picky eater, and by making a little chart along with all the samplers of what Smalls sent me, I found out that Monty does not like fish. Monty only likes poultry. Fortunately, I learned that with Smalls, and so I've ordered a bunch more of the chicken, and the cats love it. I put the 2 bowls side by side, and the cats are going to the Smalls, which was started back in 2017 by a couple guys at home who were cooking their own cat food in small batches for their friends. Man, this stuff is good. The cats love it. My cats seem healthy. They seem happy. Their coat is shiny, and man, Smalls is awesome. So for a limited time only, because you're a Smoking Tire listener, you can get 60% off your first order of Smalls plus free shipping by using code TIRE. That's 60% off at Smalls.com with promo code TIRE. Again, Go to smalls.com and use promo code TIRE for 60% off your first order. Smalls.com. And now, back to the show.
So
I like how it has all these X's on it. That's like a plastic surgeon marking off some poor lady's fat.
That's what he did.
Fat bits.
At first, when he started doing it, I was like, "What's he doing?" He's like marking the things they're changing. So these are my old seats. Yeah. Very shiny. Leather's kind of cracked up, and the X's.
This is 140,000 miles almost.
146.
146.
Yeah, and that's what they look like with the tartan.
Oh yeah. And you redid the outside leather, or it's new outside leather?
It's new outside leather. So every shop I talked to, I talked to two and chose this one.
That tartan is rad as hell.
Yeah, it's gonna look good with the notice, but also,
dude, you got a matching scarf for that bitch?
I think I'm gonna have a lot of leftover fabric.
Yeah,
about 10 yards. It's not.
I think you need like 3 for a car.
It's
right?
not this. People said 6 to 8, depending, but it's not the softest stuff. It's thick, which means why it's like automotive grade. It's 16 ounce. And when I brought it to the guy, he felt, he's like, oh, good, he's like, the number of people that show up with a thin, soft clothing thing, and he's like, this will fall apart in a week. Yeah. So I don't think it'd be that soft for a scarf, but I could order a matching one in a softer thing if I wanted to.
You could get some fitted luggage. You could have a suitcase that's like where you put it on the outside of it.
And then I need to strap it to the roof rack or something.
Oh, in the trunk. Oh
no, I don't think.
No,
I just don't think that's me. And also, the budget for this is getting near exhausting.
All right. Well, the seat looks amazing. This green and blue and yellow scheme.
Yeah. Shout out to all the people that someone messaged me because I was going through a bunch of different tartans, and they were like, "I'm a color expert, and your obsidian green wrap is actually a bluish green, not because I had ordered." Like a bunch that were like yellowish green, and then when I held it up and thought about that, I went, "Oh, he's right." So this is the one I chose, and they centered it up nice, and they drew in the back seats too, which will look sweet.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What about the armrest?
No armrest. I think it's enough with the seats. I'll look at it and go, okay, if I want to change something. Yeah.
Okay, I just didn't know how uneven the wear would be. No, not put tartan on the armrest. Right. I mean, redoing the leather.
Ooh, I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
They still have the car.
I'll tell you what. You should have them send you a photo.
Yeah,
because it'll never be cheaper to do than right now.
I know. Good point.
You're already into there. The car's already there. The seats are out of it.
I should just tell them to do it.
Because
the armrest looks like this. It's more like that.
That'll drive you nuts.
That's true.
Yeah.
Text.
You should. You should text him right now. I'll tell you what, credit where it's due. Donnie was a lunatic about this. When I had to redo my door cards on the Ferrari, he really, really insisted that I redo the seats also because the seats had the incorrect leather. And he was redoing the door cards and the dashboard in the correct Connolly leather. and I really appreciated that he wanted it to match so bad. You had to be pretty close to see the difference. It's not like, going from a car with 150,000 miles to 100 to a seat with 0, which you would absolutely notice the difference. I didn't change my seats to the right leather because I wanted to be able to not give a fuck. And in hindsight, that was the right move. Getting that car after the gym, fucking sweaty, huck my book bag on there, leave it parked out. If I did the seats, I'd have been like insane about it.
Okay.
I'm glad I didn't. But I think, for whatever, $100, $200, whatever it is to do the armrest.
Probably what it will be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just asked
because he's doing the doors too, or no?
No, the doors, because it has an airbag. There's an oval in the door card that is where the airbag lives. And I think they would have had to stitch around that, and it would have looked weird.
Yeah.
So I basically, after we drove the Singer, I kind of thought about what they do and, where do they put fabric that matches what? Do they do everything? And I think this is what I came up with. If I do the back seats, there's a lot of color splash when you look in it. But all the pillars are just going to be done OEM style because that would have been a bit too much.
Yeah, because there's two scenarios. There's when you're standing next to it looking in, and then there's when you're sitting in it looking out.
Right.
And either scenario should have sort of a balance. And how you would take a photo of it to like show off that you did your interior on Instagram is not how it would look when you're standing next to the car.
True.
Like when I did a wide angle photo of the Safari and you could see everything on the inside, but the photo was like from where your like right knee would be. People were like, "Oh my God." But actually if you saw it sitting there and looked in, you'd never see quite that much of it, and it was much less overwhelming.
True. What I also wanted to do, the dash strip across the E46.
That's pretty fun.
I wanted to do that, but this guy, as soon as I started talking, he goes, "I don't touch the dash." I went, "All right." He's like, they do upholstery. This place is literally a special, like, it's Nacho's Upholstery. Shout out. They didn't give me a deal. They're just doing a good job. But he was like, we don't do dashboards. So that's something.
I mean, I bet if you took him the piece, he would probably wrap he'd probably upholster the piece and give it back to you.
I already had the pieces off.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
and he wouldn't touch the pieces.
They didn't want to mess with it.
Huh.
So because I think that would be a way where someone, if they look in from the back of the car, they would see that. And that would give a hint, and that would be a cool connection.
It is fun.
So that's on the list. Let's find someone to do that.
Yeah. I like your pillars, though. Let's wait and see how those look. Yeah.
You mean pillars OEM or?
Oh, are you not doing the?
I'm just doing them OEM.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to do the.
When I decided to do the back seats, I was like, that's enough.
That is enough. That's a lot. 4 seats with the centers like that is a good bit.
I think it'll look sweet.
Yeah. Man, that looks awesome.
Yeah.
Did they have to redo any of the padding of the seat underneath or anything like that?
I don't know. They didn't tell me they did or didn't. But I mean, this all looks very like tightly fitted.
Yeah, the bolsters look
shaped,
pretty good.
They have a lot of foam there when I went there.
Sure.
So maybe they just do that. I don't know.
They probably do rebuild some of the foam. I mean, you're not heavy or fat, but like me, I beat up a seat a little bit. What are you going to do? That's just physics, But like in the before photo, it's hard to tell if the seat, because it looks a little bit, like a little lopsided.
It's definitely squishy on the driver's, the left side bolster on the driver's side, for sure.
So like, do they rebuild that, or it looks like they probably
do. It looks like
do.
they did. I don't know. They didn't say.
Cool.
But I'm stoked.
Do you mind saying what it costs to redo your?
$2,200.
And you bought the material.
I did buy them.
And how much was the material?
It was like $450.
So it was like
bought it after the tariffs hit.
$2,200 plus the material. Okay, so like $3,000 we're looking at.
Yeah.
To do it.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I don't know. I've never done this before, so.
I mean, at least in photos, that looks like good work. It's custom. Mm-hmm. It's done, it's done for you. It's done locally in Los Angeles.
I've never done anything like this, but I'm excited about it because I've never modified a car to this degree.
Yeah.
And, the seats
a custom interior is so fun. Mm-hmm. A custom interior is a fabulous thing to be doing.
I figured
more people should do it.
Make the interior match the exterior, make it all look really good.
Have you seen George's GT3?
No.
Shout out to Motoman TV. His GT3 touring, he had seat inserts, door cards, floor mats, and a trunk mat done in tartan. Mm-hmm. And it was just beautiful. It looks great. It's definitely somewhere on his Instagram, but he brought it out to. I was at Manhattan Beach Cars and Coffee last weekend. Shout out to those guys. That's a great little. I say little, but it's actually grown quite a bit. Cars and Coffee. I really like that show. Manhattan Beach has some variety, because there's rich people in Manhattan Beach, but it's not like. It's a different. There's also it's like surf bum rich. Yeah. So there's all kinds of weird shit down there that I don't really see in Malibu, and all kinds of awesome beach cars. People have really neat beach cars. I'm sure there's a video, but we don't.
It's somewhere.
It's somewhere, but just trust me when I tell you that thing has a sweet tartan interior.
Yeah, it'll just make this car seem special. And
yeah,
it's gonna look really sick. And
it'll be very fun.
Then I can finally make a video with it.
Sure. Oh yeah, have you been holding out this whole time till it's totally done?
Yeah, because the interior looked like shit. I mean, all the the pillars have gotten so bad. When I was driving in the canyons with Thaddeus, I was behind him. And he gets on the radio and he goes, "I see you have the same curtain problem I do." He could see my pillars flapping from the road. He's looking in his rearview mirror through my windshield, and he could see it. Dude. And so it would just look like the exterior with 405's wrap looks great with the wheels. Like it looks awesome. And then you open the door, and it looks like rats and raccoons had a fight.
Dude, I as soon as I saw the outside of your car, I was like, oh, I wonder how long it'll be to where he's happy opening the door to that car that has a 150,000 mile interior. Yeah.
No, the moment I picked it up, I was like, I have to do something here. But it took a long time to find the right tartan, order the thing, find a shop. It was a process. So
tartan's complex because it's a bunch of colors and there's tints
and the pictures online were pretty good from this place, but still, when it shows up,
it's from Scotland.
Scotland shop,
true tartan. Yeah,
it better be. It's called Scotland shop, but who knows? You know, they had amazing customer
registered
service.
Importer, White Plains, USA.
They had really good customer service. They helped guide me through this.
Well, I mean, listen, if it was the person in Scotland and their customer service, they had the accent.
I didn't talk. I emailed, so they didn't write the accent, but I read it with the accent every time. Yeah, you know. I mean, look, dear, it's going to look great in your M3. That's Irish. Oops.
Yeah, that is definitely Ireland, but also a Scotsman or woman is incredibly happy for fucking anybody to be interested in tartan.
That's what I felt through the email. They were really like, oh, for your car, you need this weight, you need that thing. Really good guidance, and yeah, it was awesome.
That is their main export is in Scotland, other than the whiskey.
There are, you know how many there's like thousands of tartans on the site. It's
you register them, you patent them. There's like your family can own, the rights to tartans, and then you can sell that pattern. It's fucking crazy.
If anyone's listening, if any of you first graders are listening, and you're like, learning to read is hard. I think learning to read tartan and determine which clan is what clan would be way harder. Yeah, because that's what it was for, and they're all named after different families. What?
There's an app for that.
There is now.
It's called TRTN.
But back in the day, you're like, oh, yours is the blue thread next to the red thread, but the hatching is slightly bigger. Oh, you're our friend. I stabbed you. I'm so sorry.
Cut you in half.
Exactly.
Fuck.
Dude, the difference is, especially, and when you're selecting one, it's hard because you go, ooh, how big do I want these squares to be? Yeah. I don't know. How big, and then when it shows up, you go, that's too many squares. Yeah. Or that's too few.
Yeah. When you look at a photo of a pattern, it's like, was this? I need a no banana for scale. Like, what are we doing here?
It's true.
They need to have a banana in every one of these photos.
I don't think they have many bananas in Scotland. I mean, they import them.
That's a good point. Whiskey bottle.
There you go. Cheap.
Bottle of Macallan 12 for scale.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I can't wait to see that, though. That's going to look fucking sick.
Yeah, pick it up next week.
Yeah, and then a new engine, right?
Eventually. I'm going to finally do the rod bearings, which is like another $2,000. I
can't believe you've not done that. Wow.
I know, considering how I've driven it, too. But
someone's Q2 check is getting well used.
Yep.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Profit sharing. Here we go. That's awesome. That's going to be so fucking fun. You're not gonna drive that. You're gonna fly to Pebble though, right? And then roll our tow vehicle while you're up there.
We might actually drive up for our camping trip and stay up there because Pebble's like 4 days later.
Oh,
so we might just stay in Santa Cruz,
right.
And if you and I have to do shows, like I might just take a fucking Southwest flight down and go back up or something like that.
Well, that's stupid.
But we might just do that.
We could do a Zoom show
or that. But I
think they'd forgive us
because we're driving like to Yosemite.
Yeah,
and
if you and I are physically in different cities for reasons that can't be changed, and we still deliver shows over, I think the audience forgives that.
Because we also get to leave our dog with my parents while we go to Car Week, which would be nice.
Oh yeah, I don't think because our Airbnb is no Peros. I don't think.
Well, also like leaving him there all day while we're out doing that.
No, that's no fun.
No.
But Manx they're committed. The car will be ready. We will have development miles driven in time for Car Week. You all right there?
Someone says Zach said the R word.
What?
Oh, rod bearing. Dude, don't. I was like, did I just slip? And did I just Shane Gillis real quick?
Yeah, you all right. Rod bearing. Should we talk about the 4Runner?
Yeah.
We should, right? I didn't post photos on the gram. Oh, you did. You did. Of the 4Runner TRD, the new 2025. It's very dirty in this
4Runner,
picture.
don't tread on me.
But also I think this color is called like mud bomb,
something
mud
like
splash, mud bomb, mud something. So finally, what is it? The first time in 15 years? Mud bath. Thank you. First time in 16 years we have a new 4Runner.
Yep.
And honestly, like probably more like 20.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like
if you drive one before 09, it feels a lot like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, our good friend Timmy, shout out to Timmy, has an 06, and has had it since 06, had it since new. Coming up on 20 with this thing. And in, I don't know, 15, he had it repainted in that modern, it was black, in the modern desert tan color, and had the post-facelift nose put on it. And that motherfucker looked like the new one up until a year ago.
The nose fit. It did.
It's the same thing.
He facelifted. Yeah, it's supposed to be like a generational difference, but the facelift worked.
Yeah, he facelifted his own truck, and it totally worked just fine.
And they had basically the same 4-liter V6 with 5-speed automatic forever.
So now we have this one's a hybrid. There's a 4-cylinder turbo non-hybrid and a 4-cylinder turbo hybrid.
Yes.
This was the TRD Pro, which is the top one.
There's the Pro, and there's also the Trail something. They cost the same amount of money. They're both hybrid only. Trail Master. I think the Trail Master is like the more luxury version, and the TRD Pro. Trail Hunter, sorry.
And the TRD Pro is the more like Baja-y version. So we went off-roading in it, and Zach also took it camping and drove it around the city, drove it around the highway. Honestly, like, a lot to like, if you ask me. Like, there would be people that are concerned that it's a hybrid, but, like, it's basically like a Prius hybrid, and Toyota has pretty much mastered this type of hybrid. I really have no concerns about this type of hybrid coming from Toyota.
I agree.
These cabs I take home from the fucking airport have like 800,000 miles on them.
Yep.
They're all Priuses.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure this is going to be fine.
It was a big factor in my wife and I buying a RAV4 hybrid instead of like a CRV because they've been doing it forever and they do it well.
Yeah. It's that kind of hybrid. So it's got a whole bunch of extra torque. So it's 326 horsepower and 456 pound-feet of torque, which is a gain of 178 pound-feet of torque from last year, and it's 139 pound-feet of torque extra from the current gen, the new one that's just gas. I mean, it's a second quicker to 60 than either the current gen gas or the top trim V6 from last year, even though it's 800 pounds heavier. And even though it's 800 pounds heavier, it feels much, much lighter on its feet. Yeah. Because of the torque, because of the hybrid.
And the suspension, I think.
And the steering.
The way they calibrated the steering and the suspension, it doesn't roll in the corners or anything. I mean, it feels like we drove it up a canyon road, and it felt exactly like any other crossover you would drive today. But in terms of like body roll and stuff, but I think it actually rode slightly better than the Mazda CX-50. We'll talk about that later.
I was impressed with the ride on the road. I thought that was very nice, and I thought the ride on the trail was pretty good too.
Yeah.
I mean, it for effectively a fixed suspension.
Yeah.
It's these Fox QS3, which is a mono tube. It's not an independent reservoir Fox shock, but it's nice. I think it was nicely dialed in. I mean, other than we learned with this hybrid 4-cylinder, because we got the transmission really hot, it had enough power to get up some really challenging stuff seemingly easily without going into low range. And other off-roaders that we've used have not necessarily needed low range in these particular section of trail. Yeah. But we would advise, based on what we learned, to go into low range when things start to get steep and rocky a little earlier than maybe you would have before.
Yeah. We were surprised. We got stuck on an obstacle, and we did it over again with low, and it was totally fine. But it was and then the transmission got hot also.
Well, the transmission got hot
in 4 high, not in 4 low.
When we were doing some rock crawling, and it didn't seem like the engine was working very hard.
Right.
nothing else seemed like it was out of place, but the trans temp went up, and then we did it. We went back around and we did it again in low range, and it was the trans temp didn't move at all. So I guess that's the lesson there.
And we didn't have. There's so many gauges available on this like 3-pod digital system. We didn't have the trans temp gauge up until we got the warning.
Well, it took you a while to find it.
It did also take a while to find it. So we might have noticed it. We weren't sure if the temp was creeping up because we were using 4H the whole way, or did it spike suddenly on that one obstacle, which we were there for like 20 seconds trying to get up this thing.
Yeah.
And then it spiked.
Yeah, and other than the warning, nothing bad happened, and the temp went from like 50% to there's not a degrees, but it went from 50% to 80%. And we went into low and just continued, and over the next few minutes, it came back down to where it should be, and then it stayed there. So, nothing bad happened. But in the video, because we did it in real time, you'll see we kind of think something is wrong, and then we'll have to figure out. I think that we're going to do a voiceover bit that'll explain exactly what happened, but like. At the time, we were unsure about why it did that.
Yeah.
But we thought about it later. This is why, like, articles are better than videos sometimes.
Yeah, they are. I mean, this is why we have to revise it. Yeah. I do think the ride is impressive for the breadth of abilities for a fixed compression shock. Like, you can adjust it manually, but versus, like, Ranger Raptor has Fox Live Valve. Changes all the time, adaptive, blah, blah, blah. Colorado does not have that, so that's more like this one. But this is a piggyback reservoir, so it's not like there's no tube to a reservoir like over in the trunk. But these things were really good. It felt like you could do more Baja type stuff with this than old 4Runners, but it still rock crawled great, and that's really this thing's bread and butter.
Yeah, I would. Now, the biggest question so far is 4Runner versus Land Cruiser for kind of the same money.
Mm-hmm.
I think I liked the 4Runner a little better. I think I liked how it drove on the road a little better than the Land Cruiser. I think I liked the steering a little better. I think I liked the shape of it a little better. I liked the roll-down tailgate. Awesome. I don't need the third row.
What about sightline? So I haven't driven the Land Cruiser, but in the 4Runner, we both complained about the view over the hood. It's a big truck, hard to see. Yes, you have forward-facing cameras and they have guidelines for your tires, but you have to use them a lot, or maybe we're just not comfortable with.
No, I'm tall. Like I'm 6'3". Like you're not. There's not a lot of people that are taller than me that are going to be driving this. Like it's okay on the road. You'd still You'd still run over a 4-year-old. Straight up, in the first 8 feet in front of the car, you're going to run over a 4-year-old. You can't see that. But it's fine to drive most of the time. Off-roading, at even mild uphill inclines, you cannot see the trail.
You can't. And this doesn't have... Like the Bronco has those clever corner markers that are also tie downs for shit on the roof. Mm-hmm. And that's a great way to know where your wheels are. And this... didn't have that. There's like a hump. It's small, but it's just not as obvious.
You just have to you have to use that camera. Mm-hmm. And although the tracers for where your wheels are going to go are cool, the camera itself is pretty wide angle. And outside of that center 2 or 3 foot wide band, it gets warpy like real fast. Mm-hmm. So considering how much you have to rely on it to do any kind of crawling, it's mildly annoying that it's not a little better.
Yeah, I agree. With Bronco, Colorado, and Wrangler, they all seem to have a much better physical indicator on the hood of where your tires are.
And the Land Cruiser just has a lower hood relative to the driver's seat. Like, you can just see better, straight up.
Yeah, this is a very tall hood. It has, like, the fake hood scoop, which maybe just to make room for everything that's under the hood.
Yeah. Now, maybe if you don't get the TRD Pro and it has the less meaty hood, it doesn't have 35s, maybe that somehow is a little better.
Well, the Pro is also slightly taller than like one of the other 4Runner off-road, so everything about your sightline gets taller and worse with it.
But the actual the trail we did was pretty challenging. Like there was a place where you had to like reverse and adjust. It's not just pick a line and go anywhere. You do have to make adjustments, and there are places that damage the car.
Well, and we had spots where like you had one wheel in the air.
Yeah.
You're on 3, teetering on 2, doing like a wheelie up the hill. It was pretty legit.
And it got up this trail really, really well, and it got back downhill as well. It's very good at going downhill safely. The hybrid system with the engine braking in that mode is really, really good. But the whole time, because the last time I was up there, I was in the electric G-Wagon. I just like, other than the range, man, electric off-roading is just so pleasant. It's so nice to
it is.
have either way, especially if you can have 4 motors. If you've got a G-Wagon or if you've got a Rivian Quad, or to a certain extent the Tri, and you've got this infinite torque work, and oh my God, and it's just quiet. Mm-hmm. You can hear every bit of gravel, what every tire is doing. Oh, that's the best. Just windows down. Yeah, that's great.
I agree. What did I say? It's like the closest to hiking, but you're motorized.
Yeah. It's like a hiking motorized wheelchair, basically.
Yeah, it's really nice. I didn't have many complaints about this. It's expensive, and that's a financial question for people. I mean, it's $70,000, and the last TRD Pro, even adjusted for inflation, I think I calculated was like 57.
Yeah.
So this has more stuff, but that's a big jump.
It does have some pretty serious. It's got the disconnecting sway bars from the Land Cruiser. It's got all the different drive modes from the Land Cruiser. Those shocks. It can tow 6,000 pounds. None of the Broncos or Wranglers can tow that much.
True, it tows the most. Yeah,
it does tow more than that. I don't know. Like, I recognize that I'm like a little bit separated from maybe the average 4Runner purchaser, but like it doesn't feel that expensive considering it's the top trim. There's basically no options. This is it. You just pick a color and that's the price basically. And I think it does a lot of things really well. And I think 4Runner people, I mean, it remains to be seen, right? Will it be durable? We don't know yet.
Right, true.
But for the first new 4Runner, I actually think, despite some people bitching about it being, the hybrid and more tech and whatever, I think like 4Runner people will actually like it a lot.
It's super usable. When we took it camping, and the highway driving is great. All the ADAS stuff works really, really well. It's better than a bunch of other SUVs we've driven lately. I like all the cubbies, the storage shit.
Storage is really good.
You open the tailgate when you're camping. Like the trunk is very tall because of the battery, but we used it as like our dresser, which is awesome. But then you've got cubbies in the back. You can put like water or gear or paracord or whatever. Like you can use it as an organizational system.
And you can buy a bunch of like stuff through Toyota.
True.
Like the Dometic fridge and like Yeti storage boxes and coolers and like ARB stuff and rigid stuff and like roll that into your financing, which is sweet. The one thing I really didn't like is the sound of it, like the exhaust sound. It clearly has some type of TRD performance exhaust on it that I sort of wish it didn't have. And there's your on-road drive modes. It's like normal, sport, eco, and then there's like the 5 or 6 off-road drive modes of gravel, sand, snow, rocks, blah blah blah. And like so many sports cars now, it defaults start up to normal mode. You drive around in normal mode. On the highway, if you're going like 60, which in LA, sometimes whatever. If you're going certain speeds, it's crazy droney, and you have to click it into sport so it keeps the engine above the drone.
Yeah.
Like all the time, pretty much.
It was like 1,500 RPM, it droned.
Yeah.
Now it still sounds, what's funny is I think the V6 powered 4Runners had to drone most of the time because it's a V6.
Yeah.
But this is almost like reminds you of that, and it's not very pleasant.
It doesn't sound great on the inside or the outside. Like when I was standing outside and you were driving past, like, it's not great.
Yeah, it's just, but like Ranger Raptor is a V6 doesn't sound great to me, and
it doesn't sound
nothing
great.
In this class sounds good.
No, only
even
the Jeep
Big Raptor
392.
sounds bad.
And
yeah,
I think
V8
that's
sound
dead.
good.
Yeah,
so this is okay.
But I would like take that exhaust off and just put the regular 4Runner exhaust back on.
But then you
I would
lose
want it to
2
be
horsepower.
It could be quieter. It's not. Someone would trade you. Find another 4Runner owner and be like, I will trade you your stock exhaust for this droney thing. But in general, I liked it. I mean, I thought it was pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely like the Tacoma, the 4Runner, and the Sequoia are real like meaty, like UFC interiors. Right, like the interior looks like the UFC octagon in like those things. Everything's like big and chunky and meaty.
Yeah.
Whereas in the Land Cruiser line, it's less of that. It's a little more not dainty, but like.
Yeah, but we can look at a picture. Some of the buttons in the Land Cruiser are literally smaller.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
And all the buttons in this thing are
a little more like dainty,
an inch wide.
Yeah.
So that you can always hit them with your big paw or whatever.
Yeah, like the Simpsons. Is it the Simpsons where he's like mash palm on phone? Yeah, yeah. So let's see the Land Cruiser interior. Land Cruiser interior is more like the full one.
I want to.
Yeah, that is definitely a little more dainty than the.
I just want higher res. This is only like 600.
Oh, that stinks. Still, like it's pretty trucky, but it looks like it's trying to lean a little more towards what you might have seen from. It looks actually like a 2 generations ago Range Rover, but with a bigger screen.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Like, I think these volume buttons and HVAC buttons are the same as what you get in the 4Runner.
Those 3 are, but everything else around it is much softer and more like you would see in a Lexus.
Gotcha. Same steering wheel for sure.
Same steering wheel, but different exterior to the steering wheel. The wrap is different.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The climate controls and like certain things are the same, but like all the surfaces are different.
Yeah. 4-wheel drive is different.
And they just make the 4Runner and the Sequoia TRD like way like chunkier.
Yeah, it's all like some hard plastic, but it feels durable.
Yeah.
Everything needs to be.
Truck.
If your hands are covered in mud, they're like, we want you to be able to operate the buttons.
Yeah.
And wash it out with a hose.
Yeah, but we'll have a video of that soon. But it was pretty good.
It was.
It was pretty good. I just got dropped off a Can-Am Pulse electric motorcycle, which is kind of neat.
Let me find it.
And we don't. Yeah, we can talk about it for a second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, look at this thing. It's like a sporty sort of city bike.
It's a Street Fighter styled, but it's
electric. It's electric, yeah. And it's pretty cool. It's fun to ride. It's light and agile, and it has really neat brakes. Like it has, regular brakes, like a right-hand brake and a foot brake. And obviously your left hand isn't doing anything but steering because there's no clutch, right? But in addition to the throttle, you can twist the throttle forward away from you to regen brake, which when you're going into a corner, hard is the natural motion of your hand.
Whoa.
So it's pretty cool.
Well, okay. Because when you're braking on a motorcycle into a corner, you do more front brake than rear brake. But when you use the regen,
that's rear brake.
It's rear brake.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
I mean, look, I haven't like mobbed canyons yet with it, and it's easy to brake gently without activating much regen at all. And there's a 1, 2, 3 off for a regen, so you can toggle it. Not infinitely, but like, in some kind of way. I put it up to max. And at max, if you really do it forward, like I don't know if you can lock the rear wheel, but like it's a pretty hard.
You probably can't because they probably program that out, but it gets close.
Around
the city, that seems really cool, though.
Yeah.
I would use regen, and then you go to the canyon for a minute because it runs out of juice, and then you just turn it off.
Right. So the juice is the problem. I filled it up. I charged it, in my house, and it charges in about an hour, which is nice on a level 2. But it says 48 miles to empty when it was full.
Wow.
And last night I rode it from my house to Venice for dinner and back, which is like 12 miles. and it said 30 miles when I got home. So it seems that it's light and it's agile, which means it doesn't have a big heavy battery, which means with someone that's tall and fat on it, it's not going to go very far, which is sort of the downside because this thing costs $13,000. It's too bad because it's actually like fucking awesome to ride. If you had a commute, a regular commute of like 15 miles or less, this would just be kick-ass. It would be so awesome. It's like flying a glider. It rips off the line, and it has I think it maxes out at 85, but it is comfortable to ride on the highway. And like it pulls pretty hard from 70 to 85. Like,
cool.
And with the regen, the display screen is really, really clear. The gauges are really clear. Like there's little different stuff you can do.
I bet it feels like Star Wars pod racing because you have the just that instant torque. I bet it's fun.
And it is. I don't know the exact. Can you look up the weight of it? I don't know the exact weight, but it feels light and agile. It's probably not like 390.
It's like a Harley.
That's funny. It does not feel 390 pounds. Man, they really. Maybe because it's all just in the battery, so it's concentrated like down low. Yeah. But it really does not feel. It's got 8.9 kilowatt hour battery. Oh, it's 80 mile an hour top speed? The speedometer goes above 80.
Oh. Maybe yours has a little extra.
I don't know.
Zhuzh.
Yeah. But it is like, maybe it's just because it's a shorter wheelbase or the weight is down low because the battery's down there and there's not much weight up high. I don't know, but it does feel very agile and fun. So
I bet it's a cool way to get around. And I know that and I used to do this too with electric motorcycles. I go, oh, the range is so limiting. That's really dumb. But there's plenty of cars we love that are only good for one thing or two things. So, all right, if you have a good amount of money or you have a really consistent commute, you could buy this and I bet it's a really fun experience.
Yeah,
You're paying for the experience.
Yeah, it's super fun. Like, it is in terms of urban riding, I think it is more fun than a regular motorcycle. And it's not that powerful. I mean, you look up 47 horsepower. Like that's not that much. But if you're getting 47 horsepower at zero and whatever the torque number is, assume it's probably the same. You're ripping off the line, and no one, you're silent. So you're just gone by the time anyone thinks anything of you, especially lane splitting. Like, dude, half throttle, I am out on this thing. It's awesome. For me personally,
do you ride it the way Model 3 drivers drive?
Yeah. For me personally, though, like I think I would need to be able, because it's electric and because like unlike a car, like I just don't want to be stopping in my day-to-day life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, my electric car does not have the longest range, but I'm certainly not stopping in days of running errands to charge. You know what I mean? Like, but if I can only really go 40 miles, like, I can't get to Pasadena and back. True. Going to Malibu and back is pushing it. Like, oof, that's like, I
don't think you could do. I think you'd have to charge in Malibu.
Well, I'm going to find out. I'm going to go out there this weekend, and fortunately, there is a charger. Yeah. The Livewire store, actually.
That's funny.
has chargers. So I go out there confidently knowing I can charge. But, like, when I rode the Livewire, like, this was a thing. Like, the Livewire was awesome, too. The Livewire was the same feeling of flying a glider, but the whole bike was built like a Harley, meaning it was made of metal. And like that, it had just an amazing, solid feeling about it. It was a beautiful thing to ride and use. It was awesome. But I could only get like 60 miles out of it, and it was like $18,000 or something at the time.
I didn't really, it's really limiting. You have to live in an area where the metropolis that you use is 20 miles, basically. Like because Pasadena is another city, it's in the county, blah blah blah. Like, but LA is a big sprawl
for sure.
But
and there's people whose use case doesn't include I need to go 60 miles. But like my use case for two wheels is like I have to go to somewhere that's far, not that far, but LA far at a time that is deeply inconvenient. So like Vespa or any other motorcycle, you know, if I have to go downtown at rush hour, I have to go to the valley at rush hour. Motorcycle is my only option for that. I don't have time for that bullshit. So like, but I need to be able to go do that without also just like sweating the range, you know, which sucks because like I hate, it shouldn't be about range. It should be about efficiency. And this bike seems to do about 3 miles per kilowatt hour when cruising, which do the math. 8.9 kilowatt hour times 3.
It's 27.
Yeah. That's not great.
That's not great.
I bet if a 120-pound little Italian man or whatever, you know, rides it, it's probably much better. But
Right, they
like,
test it with a jockey. It'd be funny if the EPA test for this is a very small, you know, weight, the minimum rider weight.
So I'll have like an Instagram review of it, and maybe I'll talk about it later if something really interesting happens. But like, so far, it is really, really fun to ride. But I just have to really pay attention to the thing, and it's. You got to get the cargo box for this because you don't want to ride this thing around without being able to carry some groceries, you know, or put your helmet on there when you're doing errands because that's what this is for. This is like a step up from a high-end scooter, which is fine. It's like cool. I would, but if that was cheaper, I would potentially like switch from my Vespa to that. You know, but I got my Vespa for $5,500.
Right.
I could sell it today for $5,501.
Yeah.
You know, and
the fuel efficiency is so good.
70 miles a gallon.
Right.
At, you know, like
it's pretty clean living.
Yeah.
It's cheap.
There's no like because that's a really fun experience, the electric motorcycles. But like most motorcycles actually have a very good value proposition. Whether it's dollars for speed, dollars for fuel efficiency, dollars for time savings because you can park it fucking anywhere. Like they're dangerous. That's the flip side of all of those things.
Right.
But the
No risk, no reward.
The other side of being dangerous is like there's like a lot of good reasons to use a motorcycle for stuff. But if they're too expensive and you can't, you know, they're also so fuel efficient that why make them electric?
Yeah.
You know,
it's
other than
fun,
for
but
fun.
it's a niche thing. Yeah.
But we'll have. Hopefully, I'll have some more. Do we want to go to the people, or is there something else you want to do?
I just want to show you this Mercedes,
the Mercedes
Instagram
thing?
announcement
Sure.
for
Yeah.
their new AMG GT XX.
Yeah.
And
We're not AMG. We're not copying Ferrari XX.
right, we're gonna play a game called "Did they make this with AI or did they actually make this?"
That is AI. No, sorry, that's. Oh. That was it. It was just people dancing and DJs and shit. Oh, this is the. Oh, okay. Wow. What is going on?
So much is going
There's
on.
a lot of things happening here for a car.
For audio people, go on Instagram
okay.
and go to Mercedes-Benz AMG and look for their thing called Moments Made in Motion.
Yeah.
It's
The
quite a thing.
AMG family came together. Here's what it looked like. Wow, so many influencers were there.
I don't know who
Everybody.
any of them are, so that's why I thought
I
it was
just
AI
saw
at
Alicia
first.
Keys.
Okay.
That's George Russell.
Yep.
That's Roger Federer.
That was
I saw
Kimi.
Federer, Kimi, yeah. Okay, so, and the car. So it's got the side profile of an elongated GT63. It's got the mouth of a Maserati Gran Turismo, and it's got the rear end of a Nissan Z, is what I see.
This was just like,
This was a lot.
this is such a crazy event. It looks like
Yeah.
a rave that was thrown for a car. Fireworks, fire
Influencers are
shooting.
influencing. What I really want to do is pause. I want to pull out and,
I'll find a photo. You know,
and pause the aerial view to see what's around their little party because it looks like it's factories. It looks like it was held at an industrial
that's how
park.
you do it on a budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just see some still photos of the
Okay.
car. So, do you think? Are you saying that event was AI?
When I first saw it, I thought it was AI because I went, "There's no way they did this I mean, then I saw Russell's face. I'm like, that's obviously him actually
Yeah.
there. But in the first like snapshots, and this is I think me being old man shouting at the cloud. I was like, I don't know who any of these people are. So is this just AI? And then there's like fire on a stage and the zoom out, and I went, this can't be real. But for releasing a car, but I think it is.
Well, the question is, did they have a real party, or was it a video shoot that their ambassadors were at? Like, do you think they had a party and filmed it, or that they?
I think they had a PR event
Okay.
and they filmed it, and and people were there for an hour, and then
they probably had AI edit it.
Maybe
That could be why.
I think AI is getting very good. So I go, is this real or not? All right, here, let's look at this car.
Oh God. Okay.
It's
So we've
a
got.
little odd. I think it's weird looking.
It is weird looking. Basically, it looks like Mercedes has built a Taycan with a Maserati mouth.
Yep, and Maserati headlights. And in the back, it looks like a Nissan Z rear end. It looks derivative. Excuse me, not Nissan Z, more like Hennessy Venom GT. Yeah, 3 round tail lights on either side, flanking a digital
Ferrari
screen
812,
that
how you
can say
doing?
things. It says "So AMG."
Yeah.
I mean, it's a concept car, but
So electric hypercar sedans. Do we care?
well, how do we define? How do we define hypercar sedan? Because the Panamera, sorry, not Panamera, the Taycan, Turbo, which is insane and super super fast. Like,
Yes.
is that a hypercar sedan?
I mean, I think it probably counts. Taycan Turbo GT. It puts up numbers on a racetrack that are in line with what you would be considered supercars. It certainly accelerates.
Sure.
I mean, it runs 9s out of the box. I think that counts.
Yeah.
I think the Sapphire would as well. But at the same time, I don't give a shit. I don't personally lust for a Taycan Turbo GT. I want to try one when it comes out, the new one. Yeah, let's have a go. Let's try it. But like, I bought the slow Taycan.
Right.
And not because that's the one I could afford. I could afford a nicer Taycan, but I think it's kind of a waste of money. That thing's like 400 horsepower. I fucking put my foot on the floor yesterday, scooted around a bunch of people. That would have been a 3-gear downshift in the LC 500 I was driving, the week before. Car's quick.
Here's what I think is happening.
Yeah.
The EQS and EQE flopped because they looked dull.
Yeah.
They were the ugliest thing Mercedes has made in a long time. Because a lot of the cars, AMG GT, great looking. They're SUVs. I think they were pretty good looking. And
They look like Back to the Future 2 cars.
they were bars of soap that were 40% down on life. It was just so ugly. I bet it's 1,000 horsepower. So that's basically in line with Taycan Turbo.
Yeah.
They're going to have that's going to be the number that gets everyone's attention. And then they'll sell more of the ones like you bought, which is like they'll have the normal AMG GT, just not the XX.
Yeah, and then it says charging time 5 minutes for 400 kilometers, which probably means it will be able to accept like 500 kilowatt charging, which is great if there are any 500 kilowatt chargers.
If you can find it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Top speed over 360 kilometers per hour. That is well over 200. So I think this is them relaunching their electric cars because they have sunsetted EQS and
but it
EQE.
has like the butterfly steering wheel, like the GT, the AMG one, and I mean, look, I
think
don't
the back looks cool.
I don't think it's ugly. I think it's derivative. I don't think it's ugly.
I think the front is kind of just okay.
I'm
not that into the front.
Like, I really wish, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I really wish they would retro future the 90s Mercedes. Like the W124. I wish they would retro future that design.
Have some blocks
The
rolling down.
W124, the W129. I wish they would do that. Like Hyundai with that
the
that
74N
yeah. This it's not ugly, but like, do people want this? This is a thing that they think people want, like a 1,000 horsepower electric sedan. Like, have you seen
How are
any
Taycan sales?
GTs?
Yeah.
I don't think they sell enough that we would just like see them around. I've seen 0 customer-owned cars. No, I've seen 1. I've never seen a customer-owned Sapphire.
Yeah, and Rimmots, they have not. I don't think they've sold out. Like I think
they have now because it was a key to getting a Tourbillon. Oh, yeah, that was smart. Yeah, you had to be a previous. Yeah, the loophole. You had to be a previous Bugatti or Rimmots customer. And oh, by the way, there's still a few of those.
Way to write a contract, Mate.
Yeah.
Damn.
Good move. It's a good
genius.
Move. Yeah.
All right, we'll go to the people.
This doesn't do anything for me in concept form, meaning the concept of a 1,000 horsepower super sedan, I just don't really give a shit about. Now, if they build one, would I like to test it for a couple days? Yeah, sure.
Because it'd be fun.
Because it'd be fun, but I wouldn't spend my money on that. Let's see. Let's go to the Patreon. Our patrons, of course, get exclusive early access, among other things, to tickets to live shows. They get a 24-hour head start on buying all tickets to live shows. They got early access on the Notice watches, early access and exclusive access to our tactile turn pen collab, among many other things. They get extra podcasts, live shows, ask questions, ad-free shows. You get a whole lot for your money over there at the old patreon.com/The Smoking Tire Podcast. To them questions. Granny Shifting, not double clutching like you should, says, if you and Zach were patrons, what usernames would you select when asking questions? Now, that is very good.
It's a good question. It's tough.
It depends. Would I want to be like something like disgusting, or would I want to be something that was like probably related to my cats?
Popped to mind was in check engine light, which is like incel.
Wait. In CEL.
Like I could do INCEL, or I could do IN check engine light, and only 2 people would get it. But
yeah, no, the incel. That's very funny, but also
I don't want to. I'm not.
You can't joke about that.
Outsell.
You'd be. Yeah, it's like you can't joke about doing a Nazi salute. Like, it doesn't matter if you joked. Like,
I agree. You can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, even if you were joking, you're
even if you do it twice in a row.
Yeah. No. He wasn't joking, but I'm saying there are people who like kind of do it as a dumb joke, but like there's still going to be that photo of you doing it. So like, you're not
every
gonna
few
like
years
that.
There's the story like someone dressed as Hitler for Halloween and then gets in a fight. And they're like, how come people are mad at me?
Well, do you remember Halloween Hitler?
No.
2011? 10?
Was that big party you went to?
No, when we went to Halloween party at the bar in Redondo Beach. There was the poorhouse, the poorhouse. The bar, remember that bar?
Okay.
In the mall. And I was dressed as Walter from The Big Lebowski, and I took home a girl who was dressed as sexy Hitler.
Wow. I don't remember that. I was wasted, I bet.
It was something. It was really a match made in
I'm sure you
heaven.
broke the bed that night. You were just like, I'm channeling all of the... Jesus.
Walter and sexy Hitler. Yeah.
Wow, walk into a bar.
Yeah, it would probably be like, I would take one of my cats and then imagine that they were like the 15th heir on a royal bloodline in the UK and come up with a name for them. And that would be my username. What would be yours?
I would do,
you'd use the C. Oh, you'd use incel. Okay.
I would do something with check engine light, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. So it could either be incel or celibate.
Celibate would be fun.
Celebrate good times.
What did I just think of? Stage M3 Klinger.
That's kind of funny.
Okay. It's kind of an old joke, though.
Yeah.
What I've liked is I'm pretty sure a lot of our users switch up their names for fun, and that's you can just keep writing new jokes.
I do not have the answer to Andrew's question. Maybe if a patron or a commenter has the answer. My sister's Cayenne GTS comes with a very nice air suspension. How does the ride quality compare to the BMW X5's air suspension, and are they expensive to replace or maintain? Well, I don't know about the X5. I've never driven an X5 with air suspension, so I couldn't tell you. I haven't driven an X5 in 10 years.
Since the M?
No, since we got a press car in South Carolina once. Or I did. Maybe I did. But yes, they're expensive to maintain if they go bad. My Taycan CPO warranty fully covers air suspension. There's no wear and tear on air suspension. It's covered. That's fully covered. So if I had a car with air suspension, I would probably want to have a warranty. Mm-hmm. And most cars with air suspension have a fixed suspension conversion kit specifically so they can live on reasonable lives without it later.
I think it's expensive because you see a lot of cars in LA that have air suspension collapsed.
Yeah. There's like a meme in like the area where not a meme. It's like a thing. Sorry. I'm calling a thing that me and my wife joke about a meme, and that's bad.
No, that's called life.
Yeah. There's a thing in life that Hannah and I are always pointing out. Air suspension blowout Mercs and Range Rovers and stuff around our neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know, because the old people. It's the old people. Eventually it goes, and then they just don't get rid of it. Yep. It just sits there, and they get a new Mercedes. They park it right next door, and it's like, get rid of this fucking shitbox. Tuffode says, how feasible would it be to emulate the ride quality of a Lucid Air in an older car? I have a Lucid Air and a BMW 530i. The Air handles better, flatter, and yet is more compliant over bumps. Are any companies out there making adaptive dampers for older cars, or would it take more than that to really accomplish it? I think it would not be possible to make your E39 ride like a Lucid. I think there's a little too much going on there.
Yeah, I mean, you can get adaptive dampers on the aftermarket.
Yes.
There are a number of companies that sell kits that do that well. You could also get really good, expensive regular dampers.
No, but aren't most companies that make adaptive dampers are designed to replace an OEM adaptive damper?
Well, no, on the Focus?
Yeah.
Didn't you?
Designed to replace the OEM.
I'm pretty sure you can get piggyback kits.
Okay.
That go on, from KW or from Tyne or whatever. That have the gyroscope and all that shit. What's it called? Like the DSC?
Oh yeah, the dynamic sport controller.
There's a lot. Those exist out there.
Yeah.
They'd just be expensive.
I mean, look, an EV has so much going for it here. It's got the battery and the low center of gravity. Mm-hmm. There's no engine, so they have all kinds of possibilities with their front suspension that you don't have.
Right. Because
you have an engine there. They can do shit with their control arms and put things in places that with an engine you can't do that.
They could also do lighter springs up front than you can because they don't have an engine, so that's a part of it. They also have a lot of computing power in that car to control those dampers. That might be even more sophisticated than what you could get from the aftermarket.
Yeah.
I would say you could just get a really good pair of sophisticated dampers from any reputable company and just make sure the springs are comfortable enough, and that would get you a long way.
I'm pretty sure Lucid stole the ride and handling guy from Lotus.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Lotus just...
And I don't think that's a replicable thing to do.
Lotus is the Y Combinator of suspension and setup.
Yeah.
Like every car, they get hired out to do that shit. People get stolen and they do that well.
Gently Used Marital Aid says, when two comparable cars are even in competence, or one is slightly more capable, when do you simply say screw it and go with the one with more character? I made that choice. I wanted to get in 06 when I wanted out of my Hummer so bad. I was looking at a STI, and my family friend owned the dealership, so getting the STI would have been very easy. I was looking at an Evo. It was an Evo 8, I believe. And then I went to go look at the John Cooper Works Mini. And the John Cooper Works Mini was like $5,000 more expensive, had less power. It wasn't all-wheel drive. And on paper, it seemed like a way worse deal. But I think I made the right choice. I think for me at the time, having that Mini was rad. It didn't – those R53s, they fucking ripped.
They're so fun.
And they felt – to me, they felt like more like miniature BMWs than something else, actually. I felt like my car was built really well. Mm-hmm. So and it doesn't matter that objectively the STI and Evo had a better 0 to 60 or whatnot. Barbecue sauce on my titties. If California actually fell into the ocean and you both had to evacuate and start over, what state would you move to?
Oh, man.
Probably Colorado would be lovely.
Yeah, it's fantastic there.
Yeah. I like the Pacific Northwest, maybe Washington State. But I think I'd be more likely to go to Colorado.
Washington has so many good things, but the rain and the clouds and everything in the winter, it's just, I think it's too much.
Yeah.
Colorado gets a lot of sun. Yeah.
Or maybe back to Connecticut with my family, but not because Connecticut is so great. Although Greenwich is beautiful. Bush did 997. Opinion on Zurich watches. They're funky. I've never really handled one. Zurich they specialize in like weird ways to show the time. So they have jump hour, they have retrograde, they have these weird little like tumbler things. They're funky, and if you want, I probably wouldn't buy one to wear every day. But if you want like scroll down, Zach, if that one, the Artemis tumbler thing on the right. Yeah. The one on the left is called a retrograde.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, so the hands go from 1 to 12 and then click back and start over. And the one on the right is called a tumbler, where the whole thing in the center spins and displays the number that is, I guess, one of the numbers that's up is the hour, and then it points at the minutes.
Wow.
So they have they're like $1,500. They're not super cheap. They're pretty well made, I think.
Very unique and weird for the price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, once you have a few watches, you start looking for like weird ways to display the time and like, different stuff.
Yeah, get choked, exactly.
And these offer like complications that are typically more expensive from other, Swiss manufacturers or whatever, but they're neat. Yeah, they're fun. Jake Shores. Oh, okay. I think that's. I think we've answered Jake's question earlier in the show. Other cities. If these go well, then we will go to other cities. Fartin' in the tartan. The only scene in F1 that bugged me was when JP and his manager were driving the Mercedes on what was clearly a test track, which I've seen in 100 videos and not an actual British road. Yeah, where they're driving in the AMG GT down the road, and it's like that track road that is for commercials that looks like, point taken.
I don't care. We've driven around there. There's plenty of B roads that look just like that. So.
Location spotting is a whole other thing. Crankshaft fondler. I took my non-car obsessed mother to the Mini track experience in Palm Springs because she's always talking about how cute the new Mini Coopers are. Well, Son of the Year award. She loved the experience, and she's going to buy. Oh, she loved the experience and the JCW Mini she drove on track, and is going to buy one to start getting into autocross. Good for your mom.
Cool.
That rules. Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good son right there. TST Sugar Daddy. I have an addiction to shitbox BMWs. Uh-oh.
Hi, Armin.
Currently have a 128i and an E70 X5 diesel. What can I add to round out the fleet? Thinking a Z4 coupe or something funky and classic. Ooh, couple ways to go. Clown shoe. Shitbox. You could get a clown shoe with the 2.8, a non-M clown shoe. You could get an E38 7 Series.
Oh,
7 Series
sick.
is all right.
Yeah,
they're fun, and they have transitional era computers, so that'll be an adventure. You could get there aren't like
Sharknose 6 Series, but they're so hard to maintain.
Oh yeah, oof.
So good.
Yeah, yeah. What is that? An E20, E28, E29, E26, E24, E24. Whatever.
E24.
E24.
A
Sharknose 6 Series. Yeah, Sharknose 6 Series, a Z3 non-M coupe, or a E38 7 Series. Print it. Mr. Nailhead says, with the 4th of July coming up, what's the best explosion you've ever seen that was done for entertainment?
Interesting.
When I worked on the Bull Run reality show, they blew up everything. They blew up all kinds of stuff.
Good pyro budget.
The fucking guy on that show was like Danny fucking McBride in Tropic Thunder. He was nuts. And him and Goldberg were best friends, and they were fucking nuts together. And it was 5-gallon gas cans full of gas and just wrapped in fucking primer cord like 50 times, and they would just like lay them, and it would look, they'd fucking hit it, and it would look like a strafing run from Nam. Yeah, or like and oof.
Was that like as you guys are driving, or the people in the contest are driving?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
They did one where they put like 3 of them gas cans in the bucket of a backhoe and like put it up over the thing and set them off like over the car. They blew everything up.
That's amazing. I have nothing even close to that.
Really fun.
Yeah.
It was good. Okay. Let's see. Honker, bonker, boinky, doinkies. I like that. Oh, so many words. Okay. My wife of 21 years has developed an anti-car mentality over the last couple of years. She simply cannot handle the anxiety that she gets while riding passenger, but she's less anxious while driving, to the point where she doesn't want to go anywhere. She feels more comfortable in public transit, like buses and trains, but our retirement plan has been buying an RV, traveling the world, and now that seems far-fetched. I love her and support her, but what's a car guy to do when his wife doesn't want to go for a drive or weekend getaway anymore? Well, a couple of things you can do. I would say the RV is probably out, unless she all of a sudden decides she likes driving the RV. My wife doesn't like going up in the canyons with me. When we go on road trips together, she drives. For all but the long highway transit sections, my wife drives on road trips, which is fine with me. I drive a lot and I go out on the canyons like by myself or with friends. So she doesn't have to partake in your hobby. Now, maybe instead of the RV, maybe you get one of those like round the world like cruise tickets or something. Maybe you visit places that are, visit places by air that are great to use public transit to get around, like Tokyo and London and, whatever. Go to Venice and fuck with a water taxi. Maybe instead of an RV, you get a boat. You do it on a boat. If that's a
cool way to get around. You could see a lot of
like that.
The world that way.
Yeah.
I would also say she might have to try therapy if you haven't, because if she's so anxious now, like if she didn't have a problem and now she can't ride in a car, but then can't ride in an RV, which is like a very different driving experience than a canyon road sports car shit. Like to me, that doesn't sound like you're a car guy and she's not a car girl. It sounds like she's freaked out to be in a car she's not driving.
Yeah,
so,
maybe like agoraphobia or just like there's something else happening there. And if she's not seeing a therapist, she probably should.
Yeah.
And this could possibly be something, and we are not therapists, but believe me, anxiety that could possibly be something that could be fixed with medication and therapy. If it's not that she doesn't want to live that life with you, but she just can't get out of that hole, that's a different thing. That's not a car question.
Right.
Randy says, if you were buying a veteran car, would you rather have a gas car, steam car, or an electric car? Any particular models in mind?
Oh, gas car.
I'd want to have a chugga-chugga.
I want the sound.
Yeah, it's got a chugga-chugga.
Steam seems complicated. It's cool.
You got to really know what you're doing with the steam. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
It's weird. The cloud behind it is huge. It obscures the whole car.
No, I would want a gas car.
Yeah. Models, I have no idea. Whatever.
It doesn't even matter. What you really want is one that doesn't exist anymore and people won't know to look for. Like that Yale, that's like SEO death. That thing.
But also, the more obscure, the harder it is to repair.
Oh, I think even if it's not an Olds or a Ford, you're not getting parts. You have to make everything anyway. The actual Dave. The 100 to 150K market for used sports and exotic cars is really interesting right now. If you lived in Venice, California, I assume, wanted a weekend car, how would you decide on what to upgrade?
Which sports car is best for Venice, Italy?
Yeah.
Not allowed to drive in.
Upgrade your 997 Carrera to. Ideally, manual gearbox. However, as they get more exotic, that becomes harder to find. A 991.2, McLaren 570, Audi R8, Corvette C8 3LZ, or something else. I think the biggest upgrade from a 997 there, in terms of like performance, but also I think is the Audi.
I agree.
Yeah,
and it will feel exotic like the McLaren, but will be better made and probably hold value much better than the 570 will.
Yeah,
Corvette will feel like a step down unless you drive really fast. Like it's a great car, but I think opening the door quality wise, exterior wise, compared to the 997.
I mean, you'd probably not be happy with the quality of a Corvette after a 997, honestly.
And it feels much more claustrophobic than the 911 interior.
Mm-hmm. I mean, a 991.2, if you can get a GTS, that's a ripper right there. They are fabulous. If you can get a GTS with a stick, you're in the money. I don't know if I guess you probably can for that price. That would be a delight. But if you want to feel like you're really getting an upgrade, you want an R8. And if you're in Venice and you don't have room, you know where to keep that motherfucker. We got you. We're at West Side. Spulius Caesar.
That's
that
great.
Is very good. I like that. Were the buses in Panama as scary as they seemed because they looked very sketchy? Yes, they were very sketchy. The Diablos Rojos.
Right.
Those aren't like the buses that like most people take every day. Most people, like they used to be, but most people take like regular buses now, and the Diablo Rojos are like, apparently they have opened the drag strip, and they're now just drag racing them at the drag strip.
Sanctioned racing.
Yeah, which is much safer.
Better than the highway. There was
real shady.
Door open, 100 miles per hour in a school bus.
With holes in the tires.
Yeah,
like
all
big
of it.
holes in the treads.
Yeah.
Sketchy. Bad Gardener says, how do you feel about buying used cars from dealerships? They're usually checked over, but you don't get to interact with the previous owner, which gives you an idea of the car's previous life. I'd say more often than not, you don't get to interact with the previous owner of a car. If you're buying it on like Bring a Trailer or wherever. I would treat both scenarios the same. I don't like. I would do if you can do a PPI. If not, I mean, I bought this Taycan sight unseen, but I have a very long warranty that's full coverage, and so I was like, all right, whatever, fine, but. It looked fine.
Carfax,
in the photos.
Whether it's from a dealership or an individual, Carfax.
Yeah, you would do the same due diligence.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, you would go look at it in person. If you can, you'd drive it. If not, you'd just have a mechanic look at it. I would do the same thing either way. It might be better if it's at a dealer because your dealer might be willing to just bring the car over to the mechanic whenever. Like
my brother, he's bought nothing but used cars, and a number of times he's bought a used car from a nice independent dealership. And he got home, and like a week later, there was a problem with the car, and that dealership went, "Oh, that's our bad," and like they repaired it or they paid for the repair. Whereas if you buy it from an individual, like they're just going to say that's not my problem anymore. So that is a benefit of it.
Okay, B. Mike says, I've owned my Mark 8 Golf R for 4 months now, and I have to say many of the YouTube car reviewers' comments about the capacitive buttons were hyperbolic based on my lived experience. Have you ever had a similar experience where you didn't get the hate for certain features of a car after you experienced it for yourself? I did use those Mark 8 Golf buttons, and they suck.
I did too. I also hated them in the ID4.
Yeah.
It's possible that that's, quote, journalist problem where if you live with it, like maybe you don't adjust the temp as often as we think you would, and therefore you don't have to touch those stupid things.
Yeah, I mean, we do refer to a lot like, oh, this could be a journalist problem. This could be a journalist problem. It's hard to think of exact, specific scenarios right now. Like a lot of it is like, maybe if it was my car and I set all my favorites on the radio, then I wouldn't care so much about a scrolling knob or something like things like that. If I only ever drove one car, then I wouldn't care about this certain thing, as opposed to I'm getting in these different cars, you know.
But the new Ferrari Amalfi Interior
Yep.
doesn't have any capacitive buttons anymore.
Also, sometimes we're right.
So, right, exactly. Like,
And oh my God, that steering wheel is gorgeous.
How
Look
great
at
is
those
this?
buttons.
So many buttons, but
Look
they're
at
all
the buttons.
buttons.
They're square and they're red. And then a start button that's made of metal.
That's red instead of that stupid thing. I mean, everything about this is better.
And even though it's just a steering wheel and like 20 horsepower and but wait, hang on. Have they made a weird shaped touchscreen there? Is that a big touchscreen? That is a big touchscreen.
It's a big touchscreen.
So that's going to be CarPlay Ultra.
But what's
I guarantee
funny
you.
is I wonder if the screen actually goes to the edge or if the functionality ends here.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But it's funny. I just can't quit you. I can't quit you, touchscreen.
That's awesome.
But no, so there's definitely stuff where we go, okay, this might be a journalist problem. It usually has to do with scrolling radio stations or things like that, changing settings that we're changing a lot, but maybe
I feel like when the NSX launch happened, which we weren't on, everyone hated it, and then it was found out later that the tires those cars were on were like all seasons.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, the handling of this sucks. And then when we drove it, it was on PS4s.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely cars that people shit on, and I drive and I go, oh, actually, this isn't so bad, and vice versa. There's cars that people go, I read reviews, and I'm like, I'll read reviews sometimes. I'll look at some review someone's written where they've driven the same car as me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I know that press car, and I go, what the fuck?
Very different opinions, yeah.
Yeah, I've been to, dude, I mean, I've told you about the conversations I've had with Jethro at some of the track events.
Sure.
Where someone will say a car behaves a certain way, and me and Jethro will look at each other like, how is that even possible? We don't understand how the car has done that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Kat Farah says, regarding the, quote, fireworks at Daytona being fake comment from the F1 movie, I wanted to report that I was there and it was a real fireworks show.
Whoa. What?
Oh, did you think it was fake CGI?
I did.
Oh.
Because
okay.
I literally thought, like, why would they shoot fireworks at that time? It seems low, and there's sparks landing on the road. And I'm happy to be corrected.
When you said fake, I thought you mean it's like because they wouldn't actually do that during that portion of the race.
I thought, 1, they wouldn't do it during that portion of the race. 2, it wouldn't be that low altitude.
Yeah.
3, sparks wouldn't land on the road. So I thought it was fake in 3 ways. But I am corrected.
Oh, I just thought it was fake
wow.
in terms of unrealistic. But yeah, okay.
I guess they did it.
They really did it.
A bunch of drivers complained it was distracting. You fucking bet
I
it was.
can't imagine that Joseph Kaczynski would be down with fake fireworks when real fireworks are so easily available. You know what I mean? That guy likes reality until reality isn't available.
Oh, right. Like it's cheaper to just buy fireworks than to CGI fireworks.
Well, it'll just look better.
Also,
I'd rather have the real thing, and like the real thing's available. So if it's Florida, fucking light it up, bitch. Like no one cares. Explorer ST says changing market conditions bring about opportunities. What are the top opportunities for manufacturers right now if they're able to pivot on a moment's notice? First thought is to continue the internal combustion Boxster Cayman. What would you say?
Just put a big block in everything and just burn it to the ground.
Mercedes should get rid of that 4-cylinder in the AMG C63 and those variants. That's one. 2 is I think Ferrari should absolutely be selling manual transmission cars like yesterday.
They would sell all of them.
They'd sell all of them. They don't even sell a lot of them, but they really should.
Aston should go back to or add an NA V12 instead of the turbocharged one. I know the turbo's amazing, but just the sound of NA, and I don't need 800 horsepower. Like I'll take a nice 580 with a scream, please.
And I think manufacturers. I mean, I think a new affordable mid-engine sports car in America. I think Toyota could do it. If Toyota's benchmarking the Alpine and the Cayman, they have a variety of usable powertrains, and I think they could possibly be the ones to do it. I think Cadillac having a sports car, it's probably the right time if they were able to do a C8 based Cadillac car. But yeah, did you see? I just right before we started the show, Dodge is or Chrysler or whatever the fuck Stellantis is reviving SRT.
I did not see that. I saw they recalled the Charger because it's not loud enough for like pedestrian shit.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Let's see. AMG Spot. That's pretty good. Used Giulias are really cheap. Under $30K for quads and $15K for four bangers. Zach needs a daily. Zach needs a daily.
Do I need another rescue? Like possibly problematic foreign car? I don't.
How much more do you think they'll drop? And at what point would you jump into one?
15.
That's for Zach.
Well, I left this reply up from Regular Cat Reviews because they say they have a Giulia quad and they would skip any of the $30,000 pre-2019 ones as they had all the teething issues.
Sure.
And like belt service is $3,000 to $4,000 depending where you live.
Oh my God, $4,000 for a major on these cars?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
$225.
I mean, the problem with a cheap, expensive car is that it's cheap for a reason.
Yep.
It's cheap because someone got fed up with the cost of maintenance and said, "Fuck this thing."
I would have to research because I think the quad is stunning. The Giulia. Every time I see it, I turn and look at it. I don't know if I'd buy the 2-liter one just because if I'm going to do it, I want the one that's fast and fun. But then I'm basically buying an Italian M3.
Yeah.
And like you said, like I got my car for $15,000. What a great deal back then.
Yeah.
I spend $2,000 to $4,000 a year on it, fixing it and dressing things up. That is so.
Yeah, for me, there's no at what point would it be cheap enough to jump in, because if it gets that cheap, you are asking for a monstrous bill.
It's getting that cheap for a reason, I think. If
a car's pretty and sounds good, it should never get that cheap unless it's a fucking nightmare to keep running.
Because if it's reliable, it will stay popular. Avora or any Lotus is a good example of
if
why.
If it works, it has a floor.
Yeah.
It's only when the car doesn't work and has a fucking a horrific list of needs, that cars depreciate to zero.
Yeah.
Minnie Finney says E-rays are depreciating fast. They're popping up for sale in the high 80s with under 20K miles. Is there a better daily four-season sports car in that range? Unless you can get a Carrera S, a 4S or something. That's a great four-season sports car.
Yeah, they're fantastic. These are the last questions, by the way.
I have to pee so
I know. You have a meeting, too.
I do. Christian says, I've seen some 2025 Karma Riveros for sale. I feel like it would be a fun review to watch since no one covers them. SEO death, my friend. No one covers them, and it's no one's looking for Karma Riveros, unfortunately. Go watch my review from 2011, same car. Nice Cam says used DBX 707s can be had for $150 to $175. Is this a good value for what you're getting? I love the 707. Not platform shared with anything. The 707 has the gearbox update, the more power, the suspension update, all that shit. They're fast as fuck.
And fun.
They're
in the
great.
canyons. Or in any turns. They are fun.
Yeah. They're a good time. So,
you tracked one at fucking Vegas F1 track.
So if you're talking about, that's the price for one with low miles so that it still feels like a pretty new vehicle, I would say you are getting good value for money because most people perceive that as $250 plus.
Yep.
And they're still selling it. It's still new. It still looks like the one they're selling right now.
Yeah. It's the Rolls-Royce move.
Yeah. So, assuming there's a warranty on that of some kind, yes, it is. All roads lead to Cookeville, Tennessee. How does the Lotus Evora 400 compare to the Emira? And how do they compare to a Cayman? I feel like we literally talk about that in the Emira video. I think I really have to pee, sir, and I'm sure you'd like to hear this question addressed specifically, but I can pretty much guarantee you that if you go to our YouTube channel and watch our Emira video, we talked about that exact thing.
Yeah, because you spent a lot of time with the Evora, and this was the comparison.
Yeah.
So
that's our show for today. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to our patrons. Come see us in Texas, July 24th and 25th. While tickets last, we'll have the link for tickets in the notes for this show, but it's also up on our Instagram bio. They're affordable. There's going to be food and beverage there. Bring your car, bring your friends. We'll hang out and talk and drink, and it'll be a good time. Plus, we all have the privilege of seeing Christian James hand, which is really going to be a fucking treat. Thank you to everybody. We'll see you later. Goodbye.